Hello again, my name is Sofia Tsurlaki and this is the third video of a new series of videos I create with the title Advice to Muslims. If you have watched the previous two videos, the transition to this one will be very easy. So the previous video, the second, was concluded with a mention of how religious people from all religions, they often accuse secularists, non-believers, atheists, for the demise of religion among people. But the truth is that if we look among us, we will realize that it's not the secularists, it's us, it's the religious people. One of the things, let me continue because I think quicker than I talk. So it's us, the religious people, that we have devalued religion. And how we did that? By making religion irrelevant to the life of the believers. And I lost my thought. I wanted to say something that I forgot. Oh yeah, I remembered. So, when I was younger and I was trying to understand Islam, and it was very confusing. And I have explained why, because if I would ask 20 people for the same question to 20 different Muslims, they will give me 20 different explanations. And the majority, they will give me answers that they wouldn't justify. And I am naturally someone, I always was like that. As a child, I wanted to understand why, and then I would accept or not. So this was innate. God created me like that, with this need to understand. So when the people I would ask, the Muslims I would ask, they would reach to a dead end, and they wouldn't be able to respond to my questions. They would say, oh, Islam is not bad, Muslims are. And this was really pissing me off, because I was like, what do you mean, man? What do you mean? So what is Islam? If Muslims are wrong, if Muslims are wrongdoing, what is Islam? Is it some kind of abstract idea? It shouldn't be like that, right? Well, now I understand what they meant. It's just that they knew, they could understand instinctively that this is the case, but they wouldn't be capable to go down and break, all this construct to understand why. Which I will do, hopefully, inshallah, I will try to do. From my perspective, which means that whenever you watch me, whatever you listen from me, don't take it for granted. Go make your own research. Go learn. And I know that there will be a big backlash when I will deconstruct those institutions within Islam that they create problems. But anyway, for now, the whole point is how we should make religions, all religions, but I'm talking about Islam, relevant to people today. And what do I mean by that? Apparently, you understand by now that I'm not a traditionalist. If anything, I oppose traditionalist understandings of Islam. I don't oppose the people themselves. I have met, many years ago, I used to oppose traditionalists, but I have been blessed with the opportunity of meeting traditionalists. And they are wonderful people. They are. Not all of them, majority of them. When you see them as humans, they are the same. We're the same thing. The problem is that they have been shaped from early age to have a different understanding of the world. And it's almost impossible to change that at this age or this stage. It requires deconstruction of their identity, which is something nobody feels comfortable doing. Not only Muslims, non-Muslims as well. The reason that I can see things differently and I can apply critical thinking in even the foundations of Islam, and I don't mean the Quran. The Quran, I accept it the way it is. Hadith, I have a big problem with Hadith, is because I was not raised to be a Muslim. I was not shaped with the ideas, for example, to feel fear to question, to feel fear to criticize. I was not spoon-fed things to take for granted. And I will give you, I aim to make a different video about usul al-fiqh, but I recently started studying usul al-fiqh, and from day one, I bumped upon things that I was like, what's that? What do you mean by that? Who is deciding that? That someone who studies usul al-fiqh in a Muslim majority country, in the school, in the university, and they start studying at the very sensitive age of 12, 13, at this stage, you don't have critical thinking. So I am a Muslim that I came in Islam with my brain clean. And whatever I come across with, I can have a critical approach on it. So back to making Islam relevant today. Societal circumstances have changed. And I don't mean that all Muslims collectively will live in the same societal realities. No. A Muslim in England, like me, lives in totally different environment than a Muslim in Afghanistan or a Muslim in China. But there is a certain level of collective development of humanity. So one of the things that progressive Muslims, and I ascribe, or I consider myself to be a progressive Muslim, one of the things that progressive Muslims say is that take responsibility of your religion based on your reason, on your intellect. Now, when we do that, traditionalists are like, oh, but you come against Sunnah? That's impossible. You can't think. You're not capable of thinking. Who are you to think? And then comes all the other things that, oh, you need to... They give a set of ideas that you need to be perfect in Arabic and you need to have certificates from, I don't know, madrasas, and you need to have studied under big sheikhs, and you need to have beard, and you need to be male, and blah, 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 blah. These last elements, they are not explicitly expressed, but they are expressed. Trust me, I know. I have experienced it. I have been told. Which is not the reality. The idea that the average Muslim is not capable of understanding Islam through reason, through intellect, if anything, is offensive. I find it offensive to Allah. The reason being that the Quran was not revealed for the scholars, right? The Quran was revealed for every single Muslim. And if you go and you search, how many times within the Quran Allah has advised, guided, forced, not forced, but advised and guided lay Muslims, people like me and you, not even like me, because I have a certain level of knowledge, academic knowledge on Islam, lay Muslim believers to use their intellect. I mean, I have the data here, and I will read some of the verses. So when it comes to reason, we have 19 different verses that they mention. And I mean, I can give you the numbers and you can go and search for the surahs, but I will read as well. So the first is 2:164 and says, the surah starts by showing the creation of the world by Allah and the signs that Allah created the world. And it ends by saying, these, the creation of the world by Allah, are signs for a people who use reason. What does that say to you? That in the Quran, Allah, you know, Allah is Allah. Okay, He's the creator. He's the superpower. Okay? Allah could order us to obey unquestionably. Right? Which is what the traditionalists do. Obey, do it. It's the sunnah. The sheikh said, so you have to do it. Allah itself, in the Quran, justifies its power, justifies its creation. And I'm very conscious when I use it for Allah. But this is another story we will talk later on. So in this surah, again, surah 2:164, go and search and you will see. Allah didn't say, I am the creator and you have to obey because I say so and I will burn you in hell. No. It gives the reasons, the justifications, and then says, signs for a people who use reason. First part. We go to the next one. 2:242. And I'm giving you the number so that you can go and you can search on your own. It says, Thus does Allah make clear to you His verses that you might use reason. Again, it's like Allah gives you the Quran, but Allah wants you to understand Quran through reason. Okay, and again, I remind you, the Quran was not revealed only for the scholars. It was revealed for every one of us. For you specifically, that you are watching me right now and you are Muslim. Whether you are a new Muslim, you are a convert, you are born Muslim, whatever you are, Allah wants you to use reason to understand the Quran. And I know this mythology that Usul al-Fiqh and Sharia, the scholars have created all these years that, but you cannot read the Quran, you're not capable, you need to know 3,000 other things. Really? Was it like that? Does the Quran say that? Does the Quran say, you know what? I gave you the verses to use reason and the hadith and what the scholar said and these specifications? No. And Allah said, I make the religion simple for you to understand. Religion should be easy, right? Read the Quran, people. So we continue. 318. The entire surah, I'm using my laptop, so it says, It advises people what to avoid, okay, prohibitions, what not to do. And says, we have certainly made clear to you the signs if you will use a reason. So Allah is giving us prohibitions that don't do this and don't do that. And then says, we have certainly made clear the signs if you use reason. Next one, 558. And when you call for prayer, so Allah talks to the Muslims, when Muslims call for prayer, they, the non-believers, take it in ridicule and amusement. That is because they are a people who do not use reason. Here, the Quran doesn't say because they're people that they don't believe, it says they don't use reason. 683. That was the reasoning about us, which we gave to Abraham to use against his people. Again, the divine, Allah, uses reasoning. 651, it's the next one. Again, it's about prohibitions, another surah about prohibitions. And again, the last part of the verse, I don't read the entire verse because the video will become too long, but please go visit these surahs and read them yourselves. So uses a set of prohibitions and says, this has Allah instructed you that you may use reason. Again, don't believe blindly, use your reason. 769, the next one, which again, and there followed then successors who inherited the scripture. Is talking, Allah here talks about Jews and you know, people that they were that they have been revealed the scriptures but they didn't follow, and says, and the home of the hereafter is better for those who fear Allah. So you will not use reason? Allah questions. Okay, I will continue. 822. Indeed, the worst of living creatures in the sight of Allah are the deaf and dumb who do not use reason. And when it says deaf here, doesn't mean literally deaf. It means people who do not listen when you talk to them. So the worst of living creatures in the sight of Allah are those who don't listen and the dumb who do not use reason. 1042. And among them are those who listen to you. But can you cause the deaf to hear, although they will not use reason? Again. 100. And it is not for a soul to believe except by permission of Allah. And Allah will place defilement upon those who will not use reason. So here we're talking about, the Quran talks about how Allah will guide someone to become a Muslim, to become a believer, and Allah will make someone, you know, distorted if that person will not use reason. 2167. Off to you and to what you worship instead of Allah. Then will you not use reason? So this is a verse related to those that they were not Muslims, they were not believers. So you will not use reason to understand? 28:60. And whatever thing you people have been given, it is for enjoyment of worldly life and its adornment. And what is with Allah? And what is with Allah is better and more lasting. So you will not use reason. You see how many times in the Quran God could just say, I'm the most powerful. Okay? I can punish you. I have the power. So believe in me because I say so. Allah didn't say that. Allah was like, use reason. I'm giving you the signs. Use reason. I mean, that's the beauty. For me, that's the beauty of Islam. One of the things I became Muslim. How Allah honors humans. How Allah considers each human capable of thinking and deciding. We are responsible of our souls, of our religion. And when you have scholars coming and telling you, oh, you're not capable of thinking, who are you to say that? If Allah addresses every single Muslim on the Quran saying, use reason, you will not use reason? Who are the traditionalists to come and say, oh, no, you cannot? Only the scholars, or the sheikhs. Really? So, again, 29:35. And we have certainly left of it a sign as clear evidence for a people who use reason. Again, 30:24. Signs for a people who use reason. 30:28. Verses for a people who use reason. 36:62. And he had already led astray from among you much of creation. So did you not use reason? Something tells me that in the day of judgment, Allah will ask us, where was your reasoning? 138. And at night, then will you not use reason? 67. And perhaps you will use reason. And last one, sorry. 49:4. Indeed, those who call you, and the Quran here refers to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, from behind the chambers, most of them do not use reason. So you see how we have 19 different references in the Quran of reason, of how people, believers, should use reason. Even for merely accepting the Quran and accepting Allah. Think of that the next time that someone will tell you, oh, but this is sunnah. And resonate. So when someone tells you something, like for example, what? That the voice of a woman is, aura, or it's something bad. And women should not recite the Quran because it's, use your reason. And if they tell you, oh, because that's sunnah, women cannot lead prayers because that's sunnah, mixed prayers. We're talking about mixed prayers. Prayers is a different thing we will discuss later. When they tell you that, oh, women should not work, should not leave their house, use reason. And if they tell you that this is because sunnah, sunnah what? Really? You live according to the Quran or according to sunnah? And we saw how the whole, in the previous video, please visit the previous video, I mentioned that the surahs of the Quran, that they prohibit doing whatever the forefathers are doing. But anyway, this will be the end of this video. I hope they make sense to you. They do make sense to me. And I hope you will understand something, and you will, my objective is just to give a wake-up call to lay believers, because Islam, again, does not have hierarchy. We are not supposed to have institutions between the believers and Allah. So I do not address right now scholars. If some scholars will think, it will be good. But I address the lay believers, and you lay believers. You are responsible for yourselves, but also for Islam, the way it's being practiced. One of the most, when you silence yourself, when you don't, when you feel, you are being told to do something, but you feel that it's a bit odd. Should it be like that? And you either you don't even think about it because it's like, oh, it's too much for me to think. Or In your heart you disagree, but with your mouth you don't say anything. You harm the Ummah. You harm Islam the way it's being practiced. And you give power to those that they have distorted Islam. I watched a video recently, a year ago, not that recently, where a progressive Muslim was talking to a traditionalist Muslim. And then the traditionalist, justifiably so, was like, come on now, how many Muslims agree with progressive Islam? Give me the numbers. And you know what? He was right. He was right. We like it or not, in our societies, everything is measured by followers, by how popular an idea is. If an idea is popular, then that is correct, right? Well, wrong. But this is how it's being measured. However, if you have people that they question the traditionalists, that questions practices of Islam, that they don't fit in today's environment, but they don't voice themselves, they don't take the responsibility, they are not men enough to stand up and voice themselves, and women enough, okay? I don't mean it patriarchal men enough. They don't have the courage to stand up and voice themselves because their mother-in-law or their father-in-law or their brother will badmouth them. Whom do you give power to? Whom do you justify? And then when you will hear such statements that, come on, how many are they? You feel, oh yeah, we're not, I'm the minority, nobody's like me, or not many. Let's follow the pack, okay? Let's follow the sheep, that they follow unquestionably. Don't do that. Don't do that. You harm the Ummah, and you harm Islam, the way it's being practiced. I don't talk about Quran or the principles of Islam, because this, nobody can harm them. But you do harm Muslims among you. And you harm yourself, your soul. The Quran says again that you will do injustice to yourself. When you do something wrong, or let's say when you don't do the correct thing, you do injustice to yourself. Anyway, that's all for today, for preaching. I will leave you and we will continue with the next video. Until the next time, take care of yourself.